Personalities here. You're doing well. I'm doing well. Here we are on Facebook Live after our action meeting that happened on Thursday night. We're just going to do the old confirmation that we're on the air, and I believe we are. Double check.
You're checking?
Or I was checking. I'm not seeing it, but I'm going to say we're live.
Okay. I'll check on my end. You keep plowing forward.
So Thursday night, July 18th was our action meeting for July, and it was our first meeting of the new school year, officially into the work of the 2024-25 school year after July 1st. And here we are to talk about what we had on the agenda on the board meeting, what's going on this summer, and seeing how everybody's doing out there in our wonderful Facebook land. I see we got 3 viewers right now. We appreciate you guys jumping in there. So if you could tell us what was a big thing? What was one big thing on Thursday night that the board voted on?
Yeah, and I'll take a quick step back. Those who aren't familiar with kind of the cadence of board meetings, usually many school districts, and North Penn is no different, usually take much of the month of July off for committee meetings. It's difficult to arrange. June is action-packed with the ending of the school year, and August is action-packed with the gearing up of the new school year. So July is really the month where things slow down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so we still felt it necessary to have our work session and our action meeting. If for nothing else, you have personnel matters to vote on, which allows new candidates coming to us to give their 60 days notice or 30 days notice, depending on their role, all those things. So we still had our meetings, and we certainly had a few things on the agenda that were very, very important. But I guess the biggest thing, at least from a public perception and public interest stance, is that we hired a new director, a cabinet level position.
Yep.
Good. Dr. Melissa Bolden will be joining us as a director of secondary special education and student services. Dr. Bolden comes to us from a neighboring school district in a very similar position, lots of experience, and excited about what she brings to North Penn. So don't necessarily have a start date yet, to my knowledge. That's usually negotiated between HR directors and so forth. But we're hopeful to have Dr. Bolden join the team, if not before the start of the school year, very soon thereafter.
That's excellent. She's joining Allison Kukler along with Dr. Mike McKenna on our reorganization of the special education, of breaking it down into elementary and secondary. So that was a plan we threw out there in the spring where that started, right? Sometime in February, budget process when we were looking at the next school year of what we were going to do. And so Melissa's joining Allison and Mike in our special education team. So very exciting to get going and looking at our new look. Real quick, the reason for that, reorganization there of why we're focusing elementary and secondary differently.
So the job itself and the demands of the position as director of special education, they're increasing by not the year, I would say the week, the month, the day kind of thing. And I really, in taking my goal was for the first year of the superintendency to really take a step back, start to understand the position, look at things from a different lens. Shout out from Chibuka there. Hey, Chibuka.
Good to see you.
Yeah, he was a student when I was principal at the high school. Great to see you, Chibuka. Really take a step back and evaluate what the needs are. So you may recall, Bob, that we used to have 2 assistant superintendents, me being one of them. And when I evaluated what I believed to be the needs and worked with the leadership team here, really thought, rather than replace myself, we have Dr. Waters as assistant superintendent. She was my colleague as assistant soups. Really needed additional support in the area of special education. So divide that position into 2 positions, pull some of the responsibilities eventually away from special education supervisors towards directors, so the supervisors can be more present in the buildings and doing the job that they want to be doing to support the students. Just so many priorities pulling at all of these people. We needed more leadership and support in that area. So I sent a communication, I'm going to say late winter, early spring, like this is the direction we're going to go. And I got a couple responses that were like, interesting timing. At the end of the school year, I was like, no, this is really in
preparation. We've been in process.
Next school year, because you post it for a couple of weeks, then you interview for a couple of weeks, then you get it approved. Then there's 60 days notice, and these things all take time. So hopefully we'll be well positioned to start the school year. and support our teams and our programming as best we can.
Excellent. No, that's great news. We welcome Melissa onto the team. Looking forward to working with her. So the other thing that we found out after our budget was passed in June is that the state passed their budget, which is great. It's actually late but early, right? It's usually one of these things where it's typical that the state budget doesn't get passed on time.
Yes.
So we're usually passing our budget with an estimation. Tell us about the impact of that for North Penn.
Yeah, great job, Bob. You did. You must have had a great teacher in your school finance classes. I believe you actually took a master's class with Mr. Scrocky.
I did.
You did. So, yeah, the process is a bit backwards, and Mr. Scrocky speaks to that often, where we need to approve our budget before the state's budget is approved. Usually gets hung up there in Harrisburg. So we did approve a budget a few months ago, and now we get the final budget from the state. And the general summary here is that there is an increase in $1.8 billion to education in the basic education.
Not to North Penn.
Not to North Penn, of course.
The state funding increase, yes.
500 school districts across the Commonwealth, plus charter schools. They are state entities. And so it's 10.7% increase in funding to education in the budget this year, which is exciting. It says here that 867,000 of the increase that North Penn's getting, which is about 1.8 million, 867,000 of that is a provision as a result of the hold harmless relief. And if you're interested in what hold harmless means, check out the action meeting from Thursday evening. Mr. Scrocky goes into great detail. That's been going on since 1993. And I don't want to, sound unappreciative. However, school districts like North Penn have been underfunded for over 30 years because of hold harmless. And we got $867,000 in relief. And we're told that that's kind of one-time funding. Mm-hmm. So, hey, we'll take anything we can get to support our school community and all the needs of the school district. But the changes from our budget to what we ended up getting was about 1.8 million more than we anticipated. Just to put things into perspective, Bob, I'm going to use round figures here. The budget for the school district is about $320 million for next year. 320. Mm-hmm. So 1.8 is great, but it is a small percentage of our overall budget, given our number of facilities, our number of employees, and all those things. So just to gain some perspective. I will say Governor Shapiro said that he is, one of his highest priorities when he got to office was to better support public education in our schools. And it seems as though we are headed in the right direction. So we are appreciative.
Excellent. And, another part of that budget, so that's funding for programs here, but some pieces of that too is the increase in the homestead exemption for taxpayer relief as well. So there was an increase there on the amount that we can provide the homestead exemption. If you own a home in the North Penn School District and you haven't filed for homestead exemption, do it.
Yes.
Do it. So it includes that, and as well as the tax rebate program had an increase in funding as well. So I don't know if you have you want to break that down at all, but there was a decent increase for that was included in our budget as part of the budget we passed prior to the state budget being passed.
Right. So we knew that was coming, and Mr. Scrocky detailed it in sometime painstaking detail.
I like his detail. Steve's detail is great.
And I do too, but I'm not sure everyone tunes in for those invigorating finance committee meetings. But he did go into great detail about that $7 million. And it is to be applied to homesteads across the district. And so, like you said, if you haven't applied, if you have a property that qualifies, that's where that relief goes. So that was in our budget, and it goes directly to those people. That's how that works. I believe he said in the meeting, Bob, don't quote me here, but I believe he said it's roughly $300 per homestead in the North Penn School District where that relief goes. So again, good news, good information, but that part was in the budget.
Got it. No, that sounds good. Let's talk about the summertime. So that was the board meeting. I mean, the regular action there of approving purchase orders, those kinds of things are all there. So there's nothing, ground shattering in the rest of the agenda there. But the summertime, I get this all the time. Like, oh, what do you guys do all summer? like there's nothing going on. So besides planning and whatnot, we have a lot of kids in school. There's a lot of kids in different programs. I'll put you on the spot and see what you can see how many you can spit out at us of summer programs that are going on right now in the school district.
All right. I may need your help with algorithms. Excuse me. What's the word I'm looking for?
Acronyms.
Acronyms. There you go.
Yep.
Whew, it's a Monday morning, I guess.
Yep.
Not enough coffee yet. So I may need help on acronyms, but I think I can get most of the program. Okay. Aside from all of our community ed camps, so for example, we have cooking camp, theater camp, world language camps, baseball, basketball, cheerleading. There's so many opportunities that we offer in our buildings over the summer. So aside from the community ed programs, we also have summer school, students who need to remediate academic programming from the school year. We have our ESY, our extended school year. That's taking place at Gwinnett Square and North Penn High School. We have our ELD program for our students who have English as a second language. That's taking place at Knapp Elementary School. And we also have the Spark program.
Here we go.
Hold on. I think I have it at my fingertips here. Spark standing for Summer Program for Academic Readiness for Nights, Bob.
There you go.
So we also have the Spark program. So lots of things going on, lots of happenings, lots of people working with children and supporting their academic growth, and things outside of the classroom as well. But people think, they'll often say to me, like, what do you do in the summer? Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
There's a lot to get ready to be ready for day one. That's for sure. Well, even some of the pieces you talk about transportation, they're inspecting all of our buses, going through everything, but they're also running. I don't know the number. It was way higher the last time I asked. I feel like they're like 50, 60 buses running every day for extended school year, those types of things. So buses are running this summer too. And they've been working on it since the spring, adding in the bus patrol cameras that go on the side to try to, cut down on the number of people blowing the red stop arm, and working with their local municipalities so that we can use those cameras to actually try to mitigate the amount of people doing that through ticketing and other things. So the bus patrol program is just about completed their installation. Of course, our custodians are always working hard. If you're in any building, you see desks and chairs out of the rooms. They're waxing floors, cleaning the room top to bottom. Food service has their summer feeding program going all summer. Try to think of some other stuff.
Yeah, and that doesn't.
What are the big old administrators doing? What are we doing all summer? What's happening there? So let's talk a little about what principals and leadership does over the summer to prepare for the school year. What's going on there?
Yeah, so there are some obvious things, right? Like building schedules, class lists, and who's in what room, and which teachers teach in which room. And obviously the scheduling gets more complex the higher you go, right? And in elementary school, not only are you setting classes and who's in which class, but then there's a rotation of the specials, right? So all the students' specials, and then a lot of our special content area teachers are shared among buildings, right? So then the teachers the principals have to collaborate with that other principal to make sure the schedules jive. And for some of them, it's 3 buildings. Right. So you have those components, but then you also have related services for students who need additional supports. And you have to make sure that jives with your master schedule. So people think, oh, you're just putting students in classes. It's not that simple, even at the elementary level.
And let's just add on top of that is that kids are coming into the system even throughout the summer, and registration and new kindergarten kids.
Oh,
yeah. That's happening. And you'll be surprised. I always say the kindergarten registration, sometimes you look at the numbers of kindergarten, like, as of May, maybe we only have 700 kids registered. Wow. Are we going to have 300 less kids in that class? No. All summer they're still registering, and we still have folks, and I do not recommend this for anybody, that are still registering the day before or day of and going, what do I need to do so my kid goes to school this fall, and not realizing there's a whole registration process. So go to the website. If you haven't done this, you're seeing this now. You've got a kindergarten student this year and you have not registered, npenn.org, get on it.
Bob, I'll take you one step further. There are, and imagine the circumstances. Maybe you're new to the United States.
Don't know.
Right? And you don't know. And then you see a school bus go by.
Oh, yeah. Like, school's in session.
My child should probably be on that bus. So after the start of school, we often get a lot of registrations and a deluge of folks who need to register for school because they're new to the area, new to the country, new to the state, and they're just not familiar with the processes and timelines just yet. So yes, that is evolving day by day by day, and as we get closer, it picks up. All right, so that I kind of
What? Okay, they make a schedule. That's easy. Whatever.
you also have to.
What else?
All the chaperone responsibilities, the lunch schedules, the cafeteria assistants. There's a lot of logistics that goes into it. Then you get to the secondary level and the schedules. It is not as simple as one child going into one classroom with one teacher, right? They have 8 periods, for example, and then they have a 6-day rotating cycle. So not only do you have 8 periods, but you have A day, B day, C day, E, all the way up to F day. So 6-day cycle, 8 periods, all the lunches, all the specials, all the lab periods. So that is the bulk.
Very complex.
Yeah, that is the bulk of what's going on in the summer. And then you also have all the events at the secondary level, in particular at the high school. There's so many evening activities, and you're assigning chaperones to each concert, each play, each performance, each whatever it is outside of the normal, we'll say 7 to 2. School day for high school kids. So that's a lot of what they're doing, but they're also setting goals for the year, looking at the academic data, looking ways in which we need to improve. They're hiring their new folks to replace retirees or new positions. So there's just so much on my end and on your end. We also, school district administrators, not just those who are involved in the instructional components, we had what's called our Leadership Academy, Bob. So usually it's 2 days a summer. This year we separated one right at the end of the school year and one just last week, where we come together, we take a look at our data, we do leadership activities, we set goals, we do professional development, just to kind of throw some of the things out there to highlight those 2 days. One of them, and we try to relocate, kind of get off site and do some things in the community. We went to Emmanuel Church right there. I guess that's what, Main Street or Villas right there.
Yeah, just past Oak Park Drive down that
Yeah,
way.
so we went. They were gracious hosts, so we utilized the space there, and we also went to the Montgomery Township Recreation Center. We go there most years. They do such a nice job, and they're so gracious in hosting us. But we brought in our local legislators. Representative Serrato was there. Representative Malagari, Senator Pennycook, Senator Collette had representation there, and we broke into groups and we talked to our local legislators about their priorities, our priorities, things in school today in 2024 that are challenging for us and ways in which they can support us. And kind of the conversation went both ways. We brought in some folks for some professional development. We talked about homelessness. We had our solicitor come in and give legal updates and changes to the law and legal precedent across the country and the state. We had a segment on demystifying disabilities, and a book that everyone read across the organization, all the administrators. We did some professional development activities to support our students in special education. It's just really a good time to spend together, to learn together, and prepare ourselves for the next school year.
Yeah, and I think it's so valuable getting together as a team as well. It's so difficult to do that, and just kind of reset and look at our focus for the year and get all the updates we need, but together as a team to do that. I thought it was, I really appreciated our state representatives and senators coming out to sit down and just chat with us for a while on that. Really good partners. And that's one thing, I know you say this frequently, but seeing it of how much they are working with us, for us in Harrisburg, because they live right here with us too. And see the challenges and really great partners and awesome conversations from everybody that was able to make it out there. So just an extra shout out for that. Really appreciate it. Talked a little AI too. We had a little AI in there because that's on everybody's minds. We got to talk about, the impact of AI. It was a really good session from, going to get his last name, Brandon, right? Brandon? Langer from the IU. And it was really good to kind of, his whole message was really, things are always changing in education anyway, right? They're always changing. So the next new thing is always, like, what are we going to do about? And it is something that we look at, pay attention to, and figure it out too, just like everything else that's happened over the last, 100 plus years in education.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of changes in the 100 plus years. This is just another thing we will figure out as well.
You summarized that wonderfully. And he kind of said, like, this is not new. AI might be new. But the idea of education evolving and tools coming into our world that shock the system is not new, right? Like when the internet came out.
I'm going to go one better. because I've been around long enough. When cable TV came out, and they're like, how is cable TV going to affect, the mindset of how that was going to be used in schools, right? So there's always something.
Yep.
There's always
let's
new thing.
simplify it. The graphing calculator.
Yeah.
Right. Like all of a sudden now kids don't need to graph. Yes, they do.
Yep.
Yes, they do. It's a tool that can supplement and support, but it, the job and the work is just as meaningful and just as much of a priority. We just have to learn how to leverage the tool to support what we're doing, and to innovate in our classroom. So that was really great. I really enjoyed his presentation. He used a metaphor essentially of, I don't know if there's any Ed Sheeran fans out there, but he's notorious for using those pedals while he plays music, and he'll record a little segment and then put it on loop and then record over it, use different pedals, different sounds. So he was essentially saying, like, this is AI. I'm still playing the guitar, but these pedals are changing my sound and enhancing what I'm doing. That's the way we need to look at some of these tools that are out there in the world of education.
So it was great. He played a little AC/DC right there, and it was great. And it was just fun to kind of look to the left out at the Montgomery Township Center.
So while he's jamming,
the guitar is just going, and like, what is going on in there? So it was a really good, engaging session. Really enjoyed that. We got a moment here. I just want to shout out. So we got, I see in the chat, I saw Terrell Diggs, former student of mine as well. Terrell, hello. Good to see you.
Hey, Terrell.
And our viewers that are watching right now, we got Jan, Cheryl Newbert's in this. Hi, Cheryl. We got Julie Lopez. Amy's in there. Sue. Rachel. Thank you, guys. I think I got everybody that's currently watching. Thanks for watching. And if, as always, when we do these Superintendent Live, the goal is just kind of review the school board meeting from the previous week, just the big things that happened. And then, if we can clarify or answer any questions here, that's what we do.
Well, you missed the opportunity there. Last month, we spoke to the importance of the word chat.
Oh,
Bob, right? Like the chat. We need to leverage chat.
Use the chat.
And I gave you a lesson on how today's youth, my son, says, chat, what's going on? And you're actually talking to the people who are watching.
We're now, I didn't use the proper hip terminology. I'm sorry.
Come on.
Don't ask questions. Chat, hit us up.
Yeah. Here's another term. I'll keep giving you lessons from
please.
my now middle school son. I have a child going into high school and a child going into middle school. And he uses this word zesty all the time.
Zesty.
It sounds cool.
It's
actually like a kid's way of referring to their parents or others as like cringeworthy.
Oh, see,
he'll be like,
my daughter in middle school, it was extra. You were being extra.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez. I see. That sounds good. When he said to me, like,
zesty, yeah, I'm a little zesty.
Yeah. Dad, you're being zesty.
I'm bringing the zest.
Yeah. And I was like, thanks, bud. He goes, Dad, it's not a compliment.
Not a good thing. Sorry. Gotcha. So if anybody, as we begin to wrap up here, any quick questions here for Dr. Bauer, throw it in the chat. Chat. Give us your zest.
Oh, there you go. Kevin Monero just called you.
I'm just going to have to try to share that one now, I guess.
You got to throw that out there.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Yeah. But I mentioned one of the books that we utilize for professional development. So I'm going to hit up the chat here, Bob, see if this works.
Yep.
About summer reads. Always looking for a good read. I'm headed on vacation that first week in August with my family. Really looking forward to it. But chat. Anybody got a good book recommendation? Something you're reading now or recently that is just recommendation worthy, we'll say. So you mentioned Cheryl Newbert. If you're still watching, you're a reading teacher. You better have a recommendation to throw in the chat. But if anybody has any recommendations as they watch this Facebook Live, Bob and I do follow up on comments. Please throw in those summer reads. Bob, what's currently do you have a book you're reading?
So I'm reading Geddy Lee's book. It's about his life. Geddy Lee. I just say that like everybody knows who Geddy Lee is.
Yeah, I don't know who Geddy Lee is.
You should. So lead singer and bass player, amazing bass player for the band Rush. And if you're ever curious about Rush, every day at 5:00 on WNPV. Rush Hour, I always play Rush. So it's a great book. It's about his life. He's Canadian. Both his parents were Holocaust survivors. So they were they met in a Holocaust camp. So it's really interesting to read about growing up and his family life in Canada and then getting into the biz of rock and roll. So pretty interesting. What do we got? We got Lisa here. Ride of a Lifetime, Bob Iger.
Yeah, I actually read that book years ago. And I don't know if I mentioned it on here, Bob, but there you go. Lisa is reading Ride of a Lifetime, Bob Iger. who has turned into somewhat of a controversial figure, CEO of Disney. That said, there's a lot of good leadership quotes and inspiration in that book. Lisa, one of my favorite things that he says in there, let me get it right. He says something like his mantra or guiding principle in leadership is you need to nurture the good and manage the bad, is what he said, which that kind of resonates with me. So I really like that one. Oh, there you go. Diane, giving a shout out to Diane there on your book.
Diane, if you read that book, we got to talk. I want to talk with you.
My nighttime read right now, Bob, is I think it's called The Miracle of St. Anthony or At St. Anthony. And it's a basketball book. Bob Hurley. Most people know who Bobby Hurley is, who played for Duke and who's, a very famous basketball player during Duke's rise. But his father, Bob, and his brother, Dan, who's a head coach at UConn, just won the last 2 national championships and was offered the Lakers job. Bob, their father, is well regarded as perhaps the best high school basketball coach of all time. So he coaches basketball in Jersey City. He talks about how he single-handedly, with the support of the administration, kept that institution alive. There were several opportunities where they were trying to close it, but he helped to keep it afloat despite $1 million offers to go coach at college or higher. And it's just like an inspirational story about working with kids and mentoring and the valuable work that you serve, whether you be a coach, a teacher, or any other aspect of working and mentoring young people. So it was recommended to me and I picked it up. I'm really enjoying it. I just don't read enough. I read like 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It's not enough. The day's over. I get up at 4:30. By 10 o'clock, I'm sitting down with a book and Bob, 10:30 hits. And
well, I'm going to tell you, the eyes get tired.
Yeah. All right. So chat, hit us up with any book recommendations if you have any.
Yeah, and keep throwing it in. After this is over, just keep throwing it in there. And like I said, any other things you want to hit us up with, we'll do our best to answer as the week goes on. Anything else for our next meeting? I just want to throw out there's our facilities and operations. That's continuing throughout the summer. Obviously, we've got a big high school renovation plan coming up. And the end of the month, July 29th, Monday, 7 p.m. That's virtual. You can get the links on the website to check out what's going on there to watch that live, or you can watch it later on YouTube, youtube.com/NPTV.
Got it. All right. I did fail to mention that we had some folks in our Hindu community recommend visiting the BAPS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir. I tried my best on pronunciation. I apologize if that wasn't accurate. In Robbinsville, New Jersey. And it is a temple that was built recently over years with 13,000 volunteers. And we, as North Penn School District administrators, got an invitation to come learn about the culture and their faith. And we got a tour from folks who live in our community. Some of you may know Dr. Mack from Skip Back Pharmacy. Dr. Mack joined us on the tour and took pictures and supported us. And it was just a really interesting, fulfilling, wonderful experience to learn about a different culture and their faith. And a handful of us went, Bob, and it was really inspiring. So it was just absolutely appreciative of the invitation and the opportunity to learn. And that's really the mission of some portions of the group. They actually said, the whole point of this is to bring people in to teach and to get an understanding of our faith and how we live our lives and what we believe. Even if you don't believe these same things, the principles and the tenets of being kind and thoughtful and serving and helping others is really important to us. So just a really unique experience for us, and recommend you check it out. And they make a very, very clear, this is for everyone to come visit and to learn. So it was a bit out of my comfort zone. I had never visited a Hindu temple before, and I can tell you that it was just spectacular and unlike anything I've ever done before.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate the invitation for that. You know, would you have made the opportunity to go there if there wasn't an invitation, right?
No way.
It was a thing I could visit, or make that plan, so that's great. Really appreciate the outreach there. All right, we're wrapping up here, Dr. Bauer. It's summertime. It's the middle of the morning. It's July. People should be getting ready for, I don't know, the pool or something. We got work to do and whatnot. Anything for our chat out there that you want to?
No, I just really want to wish everyone a restful end of the month. We kind of say that August 1st, I think you and I said this last year, August 1st is like the Sunday of summer.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, here we go again. We're gearing up, ready to roll. So enjoy the next couple weeks. We look forward to having kind of the heartbeat back in our buildings. But I just hope everyone is happy and healthy and enjoying the time. And we'll see everyone soon. Thanks so much, Bob.
All right. Take care, everybody.